When I was a young kid, I've lived in clay house, sometime on one bed, three siblings. Especially in the evening, we sit down together to study and have our dinner, sleep together, and we don't realize when we fall asleep.
Where are you from originally? Where's you?
I'm from India originally. There is a state called Bihar, so I'm from a small village in Bihar. So I grown up with my family in Bihar, but for higher education, I moved to south of India. South of India, that's a state called Andhra Pradesh, where I did my master's, MBA, and then I started working in a bank before moving to New Zealand.
MBA?
MBA is a Master of Business Administration.
Huh. Was it useful compared to actually starting a business?
Yes, it was, because it was really eye-opener, experience for me, because the thing we generally don't learn in traditional educations, we learn there. We learn how to run a business, how to do marketing, how to look at financials. There are so many things that normally we don't think about, but we get to learn and we get to think, and we relate it to our everyday life, how things go around us.
Okay. Well, I wonder what would, so you lived in a village, essentially, a little village you said, but in India it would probably be the size of Auckland. So what was it like? Was it like easy? Was it hard? Like, what was the house? Was it a mansion? Was it a shack?
It was back in those days. Now again, the village face is changing. People are getting good houses, brick and tile, and they probably getting rid of all the old concept houses. But when I was a young kid, I seen a clad house, and as far as I can recollect, it was an awesome experience living in those houses. Okay. They are like natural air conditioned houses, so
because there's no lots of open doors, or what? Why is
it's not like, even if in summer it don't get much hotter. It's a clay house, and the roof is like the same what we use. Even in here we have that tiles, but they were of a different tiles, like made of clay. Okay. And especially the ceiling is quite high, probably 15 to 20 feet. If you live in those kind of houses, if you have ever experienced, like I have lived in those houses, you don't feel heat at all. They're naturally cool in summer. In winter, it naturally gets warm.
So we need to change all our houses to clay, huh?
Yeah, I have lived in clay, but...
Do you have leaky home problem over there too?
They don't leak.
Why are they so good? Interesting.
Interesting. And they're on YouTube also, if you see, there are some, there are some videos on how to make a clay house or bamboo house with clay, outer. My son is quite interested in, he see a lot of those videos on YouTube where they make a clay house. And this time we're visiting India in December, and my son is very excited to go in my village and make a small project like a clay house.
Make his own house.
But it is a big change. Even we got now big house in our village. But I don't think I'll get the same feeling what I used to get in my childhood in that clay house.
Yeah, no. So what was it like? So how many kids in your family? Like how many siblings?
I have 4 siblings.
And you had your own rooms and stuff, or was it all?
No, that time we had. I haven't had that opportunity to have our own rooms. We had few rooms, and we used to adjust. Like especially all the siblings were sleeping together.
Oh, gee, one bed.
If sometime on one bed, 3 siblings. My brothers, and we just chit chat. Especially in the evening, we sit down together to study and have our dinner, sleep together. While on bed, just have a small chit chat, and we don't realize when we fall asleep.
Is it like a sleepover, where you just keep talking and you just won't shut up, and then everyone goes to bed at 2 a.m? Is it like that?
Yeah, it used to happen. Sometime, but when we're really tired, again, whole day we do go for, some sports. And as a kid, you always active and get tired. Probably you don't realize, but your body is tired. So when you are on bed, you quickly fall asleep.
True. So I'm asking these questions, and they're probably pretty ignorant, but I'm just like, I just want to know about this. And were you guys like, was it ever tough times financially, or is it that's just how it was? Everyone lives in a clay house, and you guys were doing good, or?
Financially, it was hard because my dad used to work for a private company. The salary was not that great, but I think as a kid, we never feel that financial part of it. We never realize the importance of it unless you grow as an adult and see the world and realize the importance of finance. But as long as I was a kid, I was enjoying whatever I had. But today I do realize the importance of your financials, and I'm in mortgage industry. I do guide my clients to how to look after their finances, manage it better, so that they can have a healthy life later on. Healthy financial life.
Yeah. I always find that interesting, what drives a person. So you had the father who had a private company, didn't get paid too much, but you guys never noticed because you had food and you had rooms and stuff.
Yeah, the one beauty of village life is that each family, they do have a portion of land to themselves, agricultural land. So that's not very rewarding, but at least everyone in the village, they do farming, enough to feed their family. So even if you don't have much resources, financially you don't have cash, but you have produce from the farm with which you can feed your family. So you cannot afford luxury, but at least you can afford a plate of food. So we never had a big luxury, but we did have enough food to feed ourselves and family. Look after basic education. So you can't dream of a higher education or education in city or in a big private school because the fees is too high. So average family, especially in village, you see that to government schools where there is not much of facilities or probably good facilities for studies. Whereas in the private school, again, you have so much of facilities, so much of qualified staffs, teachers, where you have a huge potential for your career growth. But again, it depends on the kid. Also, some kids, they study in those government schools and do well.
Well, how did you get out? Because you moved down south, huh? How did you afford that? Did you work really hard? Did you get a scholarship, or how did you manage to?
For me, I was until graduation, till my degree, I was close to my family, living in a nearby city and studying in a government university. The fee was not that high, so we could afford that. But after graduation, I had some determination in mind to do some good, like uplift my family, economically get out of that cycle. Then I decided to do MBA. For MBA, I did some preparation, entrance, because there used to be an entrance exam for MBAs in India. They are called MAT, CAT. There are two kind of entrance exams to get entry into a good college. So I did a preparation for a year. Then I got selected in a college in South. There were many colleges they selected, but I chose to go in South because of climate. I love kind of cold weather. And South was relatively colder.
A little bit cold. You're born in the wrong country, brother.
No, in the right country because I like cold weather. So New Zealand is, again, it's very weather-wise pleasant than in India, because where the temperature goes to 40, 50 degrees even. So it's quite hot there. Yeah. So in India, again, compared to the place I belong to, Bihar or nearby, is that capital is Delhi, that's close to my hometown. Those areas is quite hot, north part of India, whereas the south part of India, especially, relatively used to be cold, but now everywhere the effect of global warming is obvious. So I chosen a college in South, in Hyderabad. And I did my MBA for 2 years. After that, I joined one of the top bank in India and worked there for a few years.
And you're proud because you came from the village, humble beginnings, and now suddenly, you've got this degree, this master's. And was it hard to shed those belief systems around money? Did you have any limiting beliefs? Like for me, I used to think money was evil because I keep getting told that, capitalism is evil. Don't make money. They get money because they're corrupt. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, that's true. Money can be bad if you don't know how to manage it. So the good part was that before I had no idea how to manage it. But luckily, when I had some knowledge about it, how to manage it. The MBA taught me how to manage money, how to manage, it's all about, finance, because I major in finance and minor taxation and then marketing and taxation. So I did 3 specialization, finance, marketing and taxation. So I had a good idea about the finance, how to grow your money, how to look after your money. And that's kind of quite helpful for me when I started making money. Of course, I never thought I'd make that much money even in India, but I was in 6 figures making in India. So that was...
You were making 6 figures in India?
Yeah, my salary was...
What, in rupee or New Zealand?
In India.
Oh, okay. But it means the same, huh? It's still 6 figures is
6
crazy.
figures, yeah. Even in New Zealand, it's 6 figures. But in India, 6 figure is like a luxury.
Yeah, wow.
Here, you may not afford that luxury even if you are 6 figures, but probably...
You get some cheese.
There, you just need 10% of your income to live a luxury life.
Yeah.
So 80 to 90% kind of saving for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. What was it just around the money thing? So I know you understand like knowledge.
Yeah.
I just imagine if I was a young kid growing up in a village, sharing a room, there would be moments where I'd need to change my belief system. There will also be judgment. Your family they might not consciously do it, but they're really proud of you, or maybe your siblings are really jealous of you, or maybe they reject you because you're a mirror to their failures. Did you ever have things that you had to overcome to get to that point?
The one thing I feel to myself is that I used to be a very happy.
Used to be happy. Just been depressed.
Still happy. I'm happy with whatever I have. I was never a materialistic. Even now, even if I don't have anything, I probably don't feel in a need of that. I stay away from a materialistic things. Whatever I have, I stay happy with that. It was quite similar in my childhood. I was all about playing, less of studies, more of playing. All day absent from family or just with friends to have cricket. I used to play cricket all day.
Oh yeah, batsman, bowler,
batsman.
So
I never had an envious relationship with my siblings, but my dad, was great because every day at least he used to sit with me for a couple of hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours, and do mathematics with me. So he is good in mathematics. Pretty much all my family is good in mathematics because that's been coming from decades and decades. They all specialize in mathematics.
Oh.
So even my graduation degree is in maths honors.
6 times 6.
Yeah, so since beginning, mathematics was the focus of my family, and all my brothers are specialized in mathematics. So they're damn good.
What's your favorite math equation that you use in life?
There are many.
Yeah, because I always I don't use math at all. I mean, apart from with investing, working out how long money will last, or but how do you think math imitates life? Where is math if it was a philosophy?
Maths, again, it got their applications everywhere in life, and I think maths is kind of a subject which teaches you something in how to behave in a situation. Logical thinking. Actually, maths is nothing but a logical thinking. If there is a problem, how you solve it. What's your approach to it? And probably if you're good at mathematics, you are good at solving your life problems as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have like a framework to approach a problem? I know I didn't expect to talk about this, but like, do you go through a system of identifying potential avenues to solve a problem mathematically? Like, did your dad teach you any cool tricks with maths, or like counting your fingers and you can?
My dad was good at traditional way of solving a mathematics, but like each segment of mathematics, like there is algebra, there is calculus, trigonometry. Trigonometry was my favorite.
Okay.
So,
sin, cos, tan.
Yeah,
what the fuck are they? I can't remember.
I still remember. If I see, I can solve it.
Oh, can you? Yeah?
Yeah.
What's Pythagoras' theory?
Pythagoras theory. I probably forgot. I need to read it. But
C squared equals A squared plus B squared, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
So you like trigonometry. Like, how would you use trigonometry? We'll move on to mortgages at some point. But so trigonometry, how do you use it? What is trigonometry?
Especially, I was very fascinated with the making angles, and especially the values of sine 30, sine 60, sine 45, cos 30, cos 60, cos 45. Tan, there is a tan, sec, there are some others.
What do they mean? What's sin?
There are some values to it, and there are some application. I don't exactly remember now, but you use those numbers to solve a problem. I need to revisit because it's been so long, but if I have a book, I can read and solve it.
Random.
Even now to my kid, I teach him at home. I got some textbooks bought online because in schools he don't get. So I bought a textbook for him to go through it because I can refresh myself as well and teach him.
What angle is this?
Which one?
How would you calculate the angle of this microphone?
Probably this is 90 degree.
90
if
degree.
it's straight, there's a little bend, probably I can say 80.
And how would you use the sin, cos, tan? Like, how would you calculate the angle? What would you need?
We had a compass, I say. With that, we just measured what we could. I believe we call that compass. We used to put it down
compass,
there. Yeah. Probably I might know the Hindi name, but not the English one.
Oh, you do it?
Yeah.
Do it in Hindi? There might be some Hindi.
We just do that there and see the angles because it's all angles was made on it. 30, 40, 45, 60.
Yeah.
So you put on the line, on the horizontal line, and then you see where the vertical line's leading to. And then that shows you what angle it is at.
Yeah, I remember those. Could you do it with other variables? If this was X,
yeah,
the unknown variable was the degree, what would you need in order to calculate it? Like the length of the side or the height? I don't know, actually.
No, actually, looks for any problem solving, at least if you have 3 factors involved, at least you need to know 2 variables, 2 factors. Third one might you find out with the help of 2. But if there are 3 factors, but only 1, finding 2 could be difficult. But again, I think it's too deep for us to that there's a stage going to.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I don't really use math at all, but I know people say use it in life.
I do love maths, and more than maths. When I moved into for MBA, again there was a mathematics 1 paper, but we more got into financials. Especially the business financial we prepare nowadays. It was more about studying those financials and what they mean for a business and relate them to investments like equity. So in India, I used to do a lot of investment advice. I was an investment advisor. So again, the P ratios, beta, and also those stuff related to stock markets, we got into more. So, that whatever we studied in earlier, probably that's aided by the finance education, finance study, especially those into a different form. So you read financials, the way financials are prepared, different way, GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. So in more into accounting side and financial side of it, and especially use of it into a business world for making an investment decision or acquisition decision. So like you have so many avenues for you to explore your career, and probably they teach it in a holistic way, so that whichever is your strength, probably capital budgeting, or you have financial forecasting, you just choose your way where you feel good. In even finance, you can choose a different way, or investment banker. So you choose your favorite area in finance, and you make your career in that way. So I was more into, fascinated with the beta, risk factor, and it was new for me. Again, finance and accounting. Never. We did profit and loss in 10th, but not to that in depth. But here I got to do some ledger entries and all. So it's quite interesting in that, and that led to me into investment. And I was even at some point preparing for CFA exams, but due to time and got so busy with my own mortgage work, I left it midway.
Ooh, so you're going to be a broker, mate.
So yeah, but that's been great.
Yeah, so I'll be interested on those numbers, like, because you hear of these different things, and beta, alpha, profit loss, this company's overpriced,
Undervalued, overvalued, or fairly valued.
Yeah. So what are important numbers to know about your business, would you say?
That's in the business, especially for making a investment. Again, I'm not, an investment advisor, and not authorized to invest.
You're not giving advice. You're just explaining things. Don't say any products, and you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what FMA says.
Yes. So for investment, again, those factors like PE ratios and all those are important to look at. Based on that, what the investment advisor make a recommendation, and probably those are more for a fund manager to select a stock. Again, for advisor jobs just to based on the report advise particular product or investment options. But fund managers, again, that's another specialized area in finance where they do their own research, and that's where the more use of beta and beta, gamma, alpha.
Yeah, so you're passionate about that.
Profit loss, and they do portfolio management, investment decision on your behalf. They choose securities, where to invest and all. In my own personal capacity, I do a little bit of research, invest in stocks here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do, because that's been my back in India, that's job profile. So I still keeping it alive.
Oh, yeah? All your life savings on black?
Not all, not all, but some.
Some.
It's you need to diversify, and how much.
Yeah.
So knowing myself, some of them, I know it's easy for me to make my decision where to put how much.
Yeah, because I don't even speculate. I take all the risk with my income, and with my investments, I just have diversified portfolios. I just leave it.
As long as you have diversified anyway, you have reduced your risk, so that's fine. So you don't put all your eggs into single basket. That's what the finance says. So it's good that you have diversified at least.
Well, it takes a bit of, I guess, emotional control. It's the same as like a diet. It's like staying to the plan. Because it's exciting to pick individual stocks and take a bet and then make a whole lot of money or lose a whole lot of money. There's I was talking to an advisor the other day. He was talking about why casinos are so addictive.
Yeah.
And the reason they're so addictive is because there's a delay between the reward and there's enough suffering.
Yeah.
And it's unsure when you're going to get it, which aligns with your dopamine, your reward chemicals. So you think about investing in individual stocks. You're like, oh, it might work. It doesn't work. It does work. And then you're just like hooked. I'm just I'm going to leave it alone.
It's quite interesting, the stock market, especially it's driven by greed and fear. So especially when you see a stock market is falling, people start pulling out their money. where that's the right time to. I know it's already fallen. No point to moving your investment because you already lost whatever you were to lose. Probably now the valuation is attractive. Maybe a good time to invest. Again, take advice from the investment advisor and make a decision. Yeah. But it's driven by greed, and as we have studied, that's two things play a major role into a stock market's greed. So out of greed, people keep investing, and out of fear, they just lose money.
Yeah.
So you've got to have good control over greed and fear. And for especially to create wealth, as generally said in finance, again, you've got to start early, invest regularly, and invest it for long. So don't see the reward, early. Just do your job. Just select your investment options at an early age. Keep it every month, every fortnight, or weekly. Keep some contribution to it. And do it for a long time. Probably that's why government has kept kiwis for 65 years. Could be one of the reason.
Could be. I mean, yeah, if you're diversified and you have dollar cost averaging where basically it goes up and down, you don't know when. So if you consistently save, you buy the average. So it's less ups and less downs. It's better overall.
Yeah, that's average outs in a longer run. So that's something. But again, it's quite vast. And I think practicing investment advisor can only, guide you in the right direction forward.
I think the only value I really think investment advisors give, because I was one, which is basically encouraging them to get the right thing for their goals, and then keeping them on the boat.
Yeah, goal setting. You are great. You next to investment advisor. I did not realize.
Yeah. Oh, we used to be.
It used to be.
I deregistered a few months ago. But basically, yeah. So we.
Yeah, setting goal was one of the things we used to do. I used to do when I was doing it investment. So what's like buying a car, wedding, your son's education. So
create
a fund for each goal you have.
So, because that's the thing. So I think it was Vanguard. They did Vanguard Alpha analyzed the benefit of an advisor as well as the Financial Services Council, and they found the return was 4% better, which makes no sense. And it's not because the advisor's picking anything. It's just because the advisor's getting them in the right thing and they're not leaving.
Yeah.
And the other thing they found is they save more and they travel more, clients that have advisors. And all that is peace of mind.
Yeah.
And accountability. Because humans are emotional. It's like, even me, I get it. Seeing my money go down 40%, I'm like, oh, that's not good.
That's the fear comes in.
But it's so I always see it as just like money that I just leave, and my income I'll take massive risk. I'll start a business, I'll get a personal loan, or I'll do commission-only sales even though I've never done it before, and even though I've got like $10 in my bank account, I'm like, boom, let's go. But then the investments, you leave it, diversify.
Yeah, and that's great. At least you have something planned at the back, and in present you're doing your best to grow your business as well. Yeah, that should be the way.
That's the way, brother. So maybe we should go into your expertise a bit. So we've done 30 minutes, by the way. So you've done well.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So mortgages. What are mistakes people make in mortgages, and what are things that will help either impact them paying it down quicker? What are the things you've learned in mortgages, like your top tips?
In mortgages, again, people I generally see is that if bank has approved for 30 years, they keep paying for 30 years. But there are options where you can, structure your loan in a way where you can pay it faster and without taking a financial hit. So especially when bank even approve your loan, especially they do a test, the test rate is generally higher than what the fixed rates are in the market. So I most often, when I meet a client, what to do after the loan is secured and they have secured a property, we sit down with them, do the budgeting, do the cash flow with them, okay, what are the source, like we already know their income part, and what are the additional liabilities they are going to take, and based on that we discuss with them, okay, these are the options for you where you can optimize your interest cost, and that way they can reduce their loan term paid faster. So everyone's situation is different. I can say it's not a one approach fits all. Everyone's situation is different, and what as a mortgage advisor we do, we sit down with everyone, review their portfolio, review their situations, discuss with them their lifestyle, their cost, the living cost, other cost, or their objectives, future plans. Based on that, we do recommend a structure which may help them pay it faster.
So,
and even a year you save in your mortgage, you can save. It's a massive interest for a year. So it's customized, like personalized advice. You got to discuss with everyone and based on their circumstances. But there is always, I see, some opportunity or some scope for people to pay it faster.
How do you get them to pay more? You know what I mean? Like, do you think about goals? Like, because that part of what we do was we wouldn't take on people with debt, because debt often is pretty similar in return as what you might get in a managed fund. And a bank will give you an umbrella when the sun's out and want it back when it rains. That's an old saying. It's like if things get tough. So how do you get them to like pay quicker? Do you talk about goals? Do you talk about pain? You're a failure as a father if you can't pay it down the next 8 years.
There are some kind of fixed commitments where you don't have control. You got to pay. But there are some discretionary expenses where reviewing them and probably doing your budgeting part can help you.
Do you think psychologically, like behaviorally, how you influence them or keep them accountable? Like every quarter, you'd be like, "Hey, have you done your payments?"
Like you got to prepare them mentally as well. A lot of people that are not in a habit of reviewing their account, where the money going, where they can cut down some of the expenses which are not necessary, which can be used to pay off your mortgage faster. And even though you're not compromising with any of your lifestyle, generally we don't recommend to cut down on your living expenses. That's what's the major goal. You got to live happily. But whatever we have in that, also we sit down with them and give them a brief description. Okay, this is your income. This is going to be expense. This is what the surplus money available for you to spend on a discretionary items. Whether you use that, because end of the day you got to pay the mortgage. There's no shortcut. But how you pay and how you structure your way. Some people like to have some liquidity in hand at the same time, that not yielding anything to them. So in a mortgage we can design, or you can structure where there is a liquidity at the same time that's giving them some interest benefit as well. So again, knowing what are the options they have could be of a great help to them. So it's always good for them to probably get in touch with a mortgage advisor, discuss the loan structures they have, discuss how it can be improved, how it can be bettered, will help them.
So do you, like with the mortgages side of things, I've heard these people say they got the secret formula to pay it down quicker. I won't say the companies, but what are they? Do you know what they're talking about? Because I just thought it was like, you pay weekly or fortnightly because you do more payments. Like, what's the secret formula in the mortgage business? Have you heard it before?
Unfortunately, I don't have any secret formula. To me, anybody comes. I know that. I do hear it sometime outside. They do promote that, there are plans which can, make you debt-free faster, but I think that's not entirely true. You are the one going to pay. I say bluntly to anyone, again, you are the one going to pay. I'm not going to pay, and no one else is going to pay your mortgage. End of the day, this is your mortgage. You've got to pay. But how you pay, that matters. So that's where our expertise or advice come handy to them. Okay, do this way. Maybe even a small increase in their, like just a amount of coffee increase in your installment can make a little difference. So, different repayment options, different repayment amount. Maybe you can afford little extras. That can help you reduce your terms significantly.
Is it what are all the options with a mortgage? Like maybe not all of them, but like what so you can have this sitting here not collecting interest, but it keeps you safe. You see liquidity. For people that don't know what liquidity is, it's just like easily accessible. Like if you owned a house in Ireland, it's not worth shit because no one's going to buy it. It's not liquid. So what are these different mortgages things that you can structure?
Look, mortgages here we have mainly people do it on a fixed term loan, where the interest rate tend to be lowest compared to floating or any other variable revolving things. For liquidity, again, every family we do recommend to have some liquidity for any emergency. But those liquidity can be channelized or can be integrated, I can say, with your mortgage, where that can save you some benefit. At the same time, you can maintain the liquidity. For example, you have a product called, pretty much all the banks have with the different names, a revolving facility. You can have a revolving facility where you can put your emergency funds, which will offset with your the facility, and you don't pay interest on those portions. So it could be a small amount, maybe 10,000, 20,000. But if you see the interest saving upon a period of time, it can be massive. Again, this things are hard for any individual to decide how much to do that, and how to do that can be a challenging task. And that's where their budgeting comes into place. That's what we do. We see their personal circumstances, situations, their lifestyle, and their objective. Based on that, we can design. Some people do a small saving for a future objective. Like as your financial advisor, probably you have seen people saving for buying a car for 5 years. All right, save it, but maybe we can have a better approach for it. Have that saving in your account, and we can, along with your saving journey, we can also save you some interest, and that can have a positive impact on their mortgage. So it's this few products, but you can structure in a different way.
Why do you think mortgage brokers exist? Like, I mean, people think that it's like, cause like, I want to get a loan, I push a button and I upload my documents, yes or no. You know what I mean? Like, what do you think of mortgage? Like, I get the custom and the revolving credit and helping people pay it down quicker, but why do you think you exist? Like, instead of people just go to the bank?
Again, that's the advice. Like, if you want a proper advice on your structure part, that's the most important, I can say, in your mortgage journey. How you keep your lending structured to pay it fast. That can only help you pay it faster, because otherwise you just keep it on to 30 years and you keep paying for 30 years. Whereas you might have opportunity to pay it faster. Not everyone can do that, but some people, some few of them can do, or most of them can do, depends on their own personal situation. So that's where we identify where they can, or there is also, for especially if you approach a bank and approach a broker can have a higher chance of securing the loan, because
why?
They say every day that because they work with banks day in, day out, and they know
the loopholes.
Not the loopholes, not the loopholes, but the presentation of your applications. How to present it. You just a small change in your application, not change. A small the way we present it can make a difference. Approved it.
What's the example? You could be a politician there, man. What's an example? So, like an application, what do you think helps improve its likelihood of being approved?
Because, again, there are many factors that influence your application, like your how much of short-term debts you have, how much long-term debts you have. If some of the debts you can clear off, like you have some credit card limit where you have used some portion of it, maybe paying that off and closing it can help you secure a loan. So we can pre-hand guide them or prepare them to, well, in advance, okay, to do this, so that you are ready for the mortgage. So it's not, sometimes it might not be straight ready for for approval. But we can guide them throughout the process. If they don't know, probably they are never ready. So I can share one. I can share one example. I met one couple who wanted to buy their first home, but they had no savings, and it's all gift. It's all gifted money. So it's fine. There are some options, but again, if you're not qualifying in one, there are other options to plan for. So I guided them, okay, if you just have 5% of genuine saving, that's the base requirement for a low deposit loan. Have your 5% genuine saving, and then probably we can make application. Your incomes are great. It is just that one place we need to improve. That might open their eyes. They can start saving. They can, that's especially help them knowing that what they need, help them save and be eligible for the lending.
So you're like application advisors. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, you should get this thing with this, and then you need to do this to prepare. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but like, why don't banks do it all themselves? Like, is it hard to get business, or what? Or they don't want to think 6 months ahead like you do? Like
they do. In banks also, you can go. They might guide you. Probably once you make the applications, this was one of the examples. There are many examples where we can give a better guidance, present the application in a better way where they have higher chance of the approval.
Oh, no, I mean, like, why do the banks pay you? You know what I mean? Like, they're just more business? You're like salesman for them? Or?
No, again, we are qualifying the business for them. For example, the same couple, you say, if they go to bank, of course, they say, no, okay, you don't have this minimum deposit. And, but they had to spend their time on you. So the same amount of time I spent, but I didn't get paid for it.
Gotcha.
Okay. So we are pre-qualifying business for banks and then placing a qualified business where the chances of approval is quite high, because they do train us over time on their policies. We do go through their policies. Do
you have a ranking like A+? do they have that, like approval rating or something like that?
They do track our performance.
Oh yeah.
It is just that we, again. It's just the business tracker, how much applications we put, how much get approved, how much get converted. That also gives us some idea where we need to improve. Might be there are too many rejections. That means we have to improve at the time of submission. There are not many conversions. That's fine, because conversions are not in anyone's hand. Because client might not find a suitable properties. That's absolutely understood. So for bank, again, they do track everything. So we make sure we do our work proper way, so that no one's time is wasted.
Is there any incentive to like you're in platinum group because you got that 90% approval, or you can get better rates because of the quality of the people? Is there anything like that, or is it just like they tell you why you suck? You're like, oh, you need to increase your conversion.
Yeah, nothing as such, unfortunately.
Yeah, damn, that'd be good though.
Yeah. But it does save our time, and bank's time, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, if it is a quality applications, if it has been looked at it properly from beginning to end, it saves everyone's time, client's time, our time, bank's time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So, yeah, time is time is money.
Time is money.
Save time.
Well, I always wonder that, like, insurance I get because it's like no one wants to buy it. You know, like some people might click on a website and get life insurance, but they don't quite how to structure and what they should do. But you got to sell it. You got to sell the idea that you're going to die. You know, people don't like think they're going to die and the consequences of that. In mortgages, I was like, oh, I need a house, I need a loan, click, click, click. That's what I thought. But then obviously, yeah, there's periods where they're not ready and the bank doesn't want to waste time being like, oh, you know, I'll encourage you for the next year so you have savings. Jeez. What's the future of mortgages, do you think? Mortgage broking?
I think we have a bright future.
You have a bright future. Debt peddlers.
People need mortgage advisors. They need advice, and that's for a better tomorrow for everyone. Not first time we help our clients. We help them repeatedly whenever they need, increase their lending portfolio. Probably they got their first home. Down the line, they plan their investment property or next home. We guide them throughout the process to achieve their own, financial goal.
How are they like incentivized or remunerated? Is it like an upfront and then it's like if you refix it, or where? Because I would think you get a mortgage and now, I'm doing this for free now. I'm like, I'll support you. Yeah, the goodness of my heart.
Again, we got to survive. So, major portion we get paid upfront. But some banks pay trail. Some banks give a small fee at the time of refix. But major goal for our services is to retain our clients to us. So we keep them servicing throughout the process without any cost. And that is kind of business model we have or developed where the front business, whatever we're getting or ongoing business we anyway keep doing, that help us maintain our servicing line active as well. So we do keep resources where we can we make sure our existing clients or clients who we have arranged a mortgage, we could service on an ongoing basis.
How do you stop yourself from just being like, oh, you need another mortgage? You know what I mean? Like, how do you, like, if you're going to bring someone in, because you care about people, so that's a good way. But like, how do you incentivize people appropriately? Because I think about that in sales is like, I think the mistakes a lot of sales trainers make is they incentivize on results, not on process. Because then you're competing and sabotaging others in order to inflate yourself with your results, as opposed to values and standards and like calling leads within 5 minutes and making this number of calls every day and rewarding that.
I think it rightly said, not incentivizing that way. Probably we care much about our service things, so we try to give best response to our clients. Best turnaround time, best service we could give. And that kind of one great thing for clients to look at that as well. A small incentive might not help them achieve their financial goal, but managing especially looking after their requirements, looking after their queries, answering their queries, phone call, guiding them in a proper way, that could take them long.
Well, I just mean like, so let's say you hire someone and you say to them, every time you get a loan, you get money. And then every time the client gets another loan or refixes the existing loan, you get money. No, they're like, oh, here's a mortgage. Get this mortgage. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
How do you incentivize good behavior? Do you think? Like, it's one thing to care.
I think that's not the right approach. Probably we don't first, because it's end of the day, it's a debt is debt. You got to be careful of it. How much you got to have a healthy debts. So as part of our process, we do make them realize what the additional cost or liabilities they are taking and what impact this can have on their lifestyle, so that they are fully prepared to add additional lending to their. So definitely not incentivizing them, probably educating them is what we do.
Yeah.
That's more important for us to educate them what they are going to do.
Oh, you go. Sorry.
Yeah, so making them aware and making them realize the financial commitments or obligations they will have post having another lending.
Yeah, I partly asked that question to see if there's any sort of innovation or things that could be changed. Like, for example, with investment, we would get between 0.25% and 1% of how much they invest every year. So they invest $1 million, if you get $5,000 a year, 0.5.
Yeah.
And then we tell them, spend your money because life's short. But then our revenue is going down. So we're incentivized to tell them to keep investing and to invest more. So, and mortgages, you're incentivized to get them good debt, but still get more debt. So like you sign them up, you got your first time, get on the property ladder, get out there, do rental property. But I don't like rental property. No, mortgage.
Let's see, here the motivation comes to investor from the potential gain in future. So it's not from incentivizing them when they take another mortgage. It is the future they want to, the future they are looking at.
No, I mean incentivize staff. So like mortgages. So you're a good guy.
Okay.
I think. I don't know you, but I think you seem like a good guy. But like you got all these other mortgage brokers out there. Yeah. They get money every time they sign a loan and refix a loan, pretty much.
I'm not sure about that, but
okay.
Yeah, I think.
So how do we change it though? You know what I mean? How do you put the incentives in the right place? Like if let's say you're the Financial Markets Authority and you could tell all the mortgage brokers, this is how you're going to get paid. This is how it's going to work. How do we make sure that it's flipped to the best interest of the client? Yeah,
we have a very strict disclosure obligations. From beginning to end. So whenever we sign a customer, me or any advisor working with me, we do our initial disclosure to all the clients. That is mandatory and mandate from FMA again. So that's stage one of our disclosure, where we got to send them information about us, our complaint process, our remunerations, how we get paid, how much we get paid. So it got its long disclosure and it got all the information. So transparency from the day one, how we get remunerated. Second, once we achieve the objective, like he looking to buy investment property, he bought, again we do at the final disclosure, how much we earned. So it's quite regulated.
And the end, you tell them how much you made.
You make so.
I made 20 grand off you being stressed about debt.
Yeah, it could be 2 grand, 1 grand, or 20 grand. So whatever I made, I disclosed to him that this is what I made. So I did initially as well, because this percentage I can get based on your lending amount. And at the end, we do send another email saying, okay, this is what we got from your mortgage. So, it's part of our obligation, our disclosure obligation. So,
is it awkward?
It is all good, and it comes with the obligation as well. Again, there is clawbacks, everything. So those parts as well we disclose to clients. How it's not you got it and it's yours. You carry a responsibility as well along with it.
Yeah, I don't know that at the end. Like at the start, I get it because you have to disclose it and it's in your disclosure statement.
Yes.
If anyone ever wants to meet an advisor, just go on their website, click disclosure statement. You can see what products they recommend and how much they get paid.
Yeah, like on website, you can do our privacy disclosure or normal disclosure. So that's initial disclosure we have about our company background, what we do, products and everything. Then once we establish a relationship or initial contact, we send them our initial disclosure. So that details about the advisor. So that was the business disclosure on the website, product and services they have. Again, advisor level, we got to disclose about ourselves, our license information, our complaints.
Criminal record.
That was already checked, so it is clean. That's why we are there.
Empty.
If it is not clean, we wouldn't be there.
Yeah, that's true. You can't be an advisor.
So it's all checked and passed. Those things, but for the client, most important thing is that they know if there is any dispute or any issues, where to reach out.
And call them.
Yeah,
Ombudsman. Financial service ombudsman or insurance ombudsman.
Yeah, we have,
0800. My mortgage sucks.
Yeah, there are proper ways where you can just internal complaints, then you can go to, dispute resolution, then you can go to, next step. So all the steps would be given there, contact details, remuneration details. So it's quite detailed as per the, regulations. We got to give details. We have system in place where it makes sure it goes to their email. They can read it out and make an informed decision whether to engage with the advisor or not to engage.
Hopefully it goes to junk mail, eh?
That could probably better let them know.
Like,
check
so
your spam folder.
I made 10 grand off you in the last 5 years, and they were like, oh. So if you get a loan, $100 million loan, does that change? Is it still the same percentage?
Yes, the percentage will remain the same. And again, that as per the bank, some banks give lower percentage, some banks give higher percentage. So irrespective of the lending, the percentage with that particular bank remains the same.
Wow. Why go out there with the high net worths? Go find those billionaire people.
Again, their lending is higher. So if someone taking $1 million loan, someone taking a $5 million loan, again, we get paid on $5 million. That is automatically higher than for the $1 million.
Yeah.
So we anyway get remunerated for the millionaire clients, higher, commission amount because the lending is higher.
Yeah. So let's go get those high net worths. That's better. 10 clients balling.
They come with their own complications.
Yeah.
As well. So it's again, you got to invest relatively more time on them.
Yeah. To get them. That's interesting.
Get them. Yeah. But there are market segment for everyone. So it's all where your approach or where is your target market.
You mean high net worths? Well, I mean, I know a few, but I don't.
Probably for investment, you need high net worth individual because that's mortgage is still it's relatively fine for. But investment, I think it's the volume probably could be remunerative for you. Can work.
Yeah. Fortunately, there's a lot of boomers that just had a house and then they sold it because they don't want to have tenants anymore. So that's usually what we have. Mum and dad investors that have 100,000 to 3 million, probably. Which is not. There's actually quite a lot of those in their 60s. If you get higher, then it's a little harder. Our generation, not many of those. KiwiSaver, some of them might be like engineers or successful careers in the KiwiSavers, right? But we get 0.25% of the KiwiSaver, which is like, if you break that down, so the average Kiwi balance is like 30 grand.
30, 40 grand, yeah.
So you're good at math. So they got 30 grand. 1% of that was 300, and then a quarter of that, $70 a year.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. So that's what I said. Probably for you, you need big ones.
Yeah, well, the problem is, it's like, so they paid monthly in arrears. So basically, what that means is each month it comes out of their fund.
For the fund, yeah.
So we don't have to keep chasing them up for the bill. Yeah. It's tax deductible. So that's convenient. The problem is like if you have, let's say, a return of 5% for a balanced fund after tax, and then we're coming in, we're like, oh yeah, pay us 1%. And so they're getting 4%. And then how that compounds over time. That's the challenge with it. But then if we charge them a fixed $5,000 every year and you're like, oh, what value are you adding? Oh, well, we're just making sure you don't leave the fund and making sure the fund manager isn't doing anything weird. And we've only changed 3 times in 30 years. Like the guy I work with's done it 30 years. Yeah. So we've only changed 3 fund managers. But that's all our thing is. We have a chat with them. What do you want to achieve? And they're like, oh, I want to achieve this in 7 years. Okay, do this. Talk to you in 7 years. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing I need to do. Yeah. Like, it's set.
Set, yeah.
The problem is it goes down for periods of time, like 3-4 years, and then they want someone to call them and tell them why is it going down. You're like, oh, it's going down.
So there must be a disclosure regarding the risk factor involved in that investment, isn't it?
Yeah, the risk, we call it volatility.
Volatility, yeah.
And the analogy I use is there's a bridge and there's a rubber band.
Yeah.
You're trying to cross the cliff. A rubber band is one stock, one share, one company.
Yeah.
You could launch up and get across quicker, but it could snap and you lose everything.
You lose everything, yeah.
Whereas a bridge is like a diversified portfolio. You own different asset classes like property, shares, bonds, just loans to like institutions like the government. And it goes up and down. It's going to get bumpy because of fear and greed.
Yeah.
But as long as you don't jump off the fucking bridge, you'll get to where you want to go.
Makes sense. That could be probably a stable investment strategy.
It is, yeah. You're not. No clients ever lost money in 3
At
decades.
least you get something rather than nothing.
What we do is we can. The two things that become important with investment advice is setting expectations, which is don't preach returns. Say a very conservative return. So we say 1%, 2%, or 3% real return, which is like after inflation. And then the other thing we say is, okay, this is your portfolio. Historically, it's gone down by 40% for a few years. What are your thoughts on that? And then they're like, oh shit. And then when that happens, you say, hey, but the advisors that said, hey, I can make better returns than everyone else. Look at how good we are. As soon as this happens, all their clients are gone.
Yeah. No, definitely that could be a hard conversation, especially when realizing the portfolio has gone by 40%. But that's where, in the beginning, what we went for decides our journey.
It's actually the harder conversation is saying to them, hey, your return on the bank after taxes and inflation is -1 to 1.
Yeah.
You want to have your retirement, you're not going to have enough money. You're going to run out of money. And there might not be super because the population's getting older and we can't fund them.
Yeah.
So what's your plan? We've got the fucked up bridge that goes like this, but it'll get you there. Or you can lose money on average almost every year consistently for the next 20 years after inflation. Up to you.
Yeah.
Or property, but then...
But isn't it, if they plan for long, probably there are higher chances of them achieving that goal even after the bumpy ride?
Yeah. So if you compare the bank, for example, and they're losing 1% a year in the bank, let's keep it simple, or zero. So everything keeps increasing. Their money keeps going down over a 20-year period.
Yeah.
And at the end, they're like, oh, I can buy some Tim Tams.
It's all because of the inflation. It's got a big gap. Huh?
But that's what the things we compete with is property. And property is incredible investment if it's run well. It's a business.
That's what a lot of investors do as well, because a lot of my clients, I spoke to them, they sometimes say, okay, I just want one property to live in, one rental for, so that once they retire, they have a passive income from investment property, with which even they're not getting a superannuation, they are fine. They have some liquidity or cash flow in hand to run their day-to-day operations or, expenses. So that's another objective. People invest in properties where they grow their investment portfolio. And still, if someone paying principal and interest for, 30 years for even their own home or investment, they know that after 30 years, it both will be mortgage free. And once it's mortgage free, whatever rents they're getting, that's theirs. Yeah.
So what I say in that scenario is being able to make money on money you don't have is incredible. Leverage. So you put in $100,000 and you get a big ass house, and that house increases in value, but you've only spent $100,000. But the problem becomes eventually later in life, no one wants to deal with tenants, or maybe they do.
Yeah.
And if they do, then their return maybe is 2%, give or take, of the income they can take from it.
Yeah.
And that might not be enough. So what we say is you sell that property, congrats on running it well, and then you take out 6% a year. And that means that you'll run out of money in 25 to 30 years because you're taking out some of the growth and the actual capital.
Yeah, that's a cool idea as well. So once you have you have built an asset, and probably upon your retirement, now you don't need to keep it.
Yeah, just chuck in a managed fund, take out 6%, leave it alone.
Don't have to manage tenants. I know there are challenges managing tenants. I do have investment property. I can tell you the amount of stress it comes with.
It's not stress-free though, because it will go down for 3 to 4 years. That's stressful.
That a stress like knowingly I'm taking because I making that that investment portfolio for myself, so that when I retire, at least again I can sell and invest in your fund.
Yeah, you just give up. It's brain dead, honestly. It's just KiwiSaver, but you can access it.
Yes,
that's it. It's not complicated. Balanced. You're 65. You're no more income.
Yeah,
you just go balanced fund. Make sure the fund manager's not doing stupid stuff. They call them balanced, but they're not.
I think I do have some idea about that, because being from that background, I do like KiwiSaver, I do invest for long, but for short term for myself, I do into managed funds.
So what do you mean by short term? Just curiosity.
Not short term, like in the side of KiwiSaver, I do investment in managed funds.
Oh yeah,
managed in managed again. I choose the growth option.
Oh, interesting. It's not okay.
So
10 years.
That's not it's not that whenever I need, but I know the surplus money I have, instead of keeping somewhere or putting into my mortgage, I just want something for maybe 5 years for some purpose. I just park in the growth fund. And and that's again out of passion. My personal interest. I do.
Okay. Well, I might. You said you had rental properties, which is good because you got an income. My concern would be you're using the growth as kind of like an emergency fund, and I would be worried.
It is like not emergency fund. It's a surplus fund I have. So I can't imagine what to do with that, and I just park there. Sometimes I do my own research. Okay, market is right, in a right situation to make investments. Plus, I do weekly contribution to it, like some amount I have set that automatically goes to that, and I know that I'm not going to touch it in near future, because it doesn't make sense to invest for short term. It got to be long term. But I know that it's a liquid. Whenever I need, I can take it out. At least some portion, even it's a bumpy jump, even it is crash.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that.
Are you? Oh, that's my only concern is you've got all this debt, suddenly you need to pay the bills, and then you try to take it from your growth fund and it's down 30%. That's my only concern. But you do it. I'm not an advisor anymore. And
again, that's my personal things. Again, it's not recommended everyone. Again,
you do
because I was advisor myself, so I can do for myself at least. Again, not entitled to give advice to anyone.
No worries. Well,
and I long left this field.
Yeah, fair. Well, you've done your first podcast in an hour and 8 minutes, so thanks for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I may not be great, but
You did good.